Welcome to The Deep Dive. We're the place you come to when you want to go deep, sift through the noise, and really get to the heart of fascinating knowledge. I'm your host, joined by our expert researcher.
Great to be here.
So today we're tackling something really intriguing. It's this feeling, maybe an intuition, that a lot of us have, that our heart and brain are connected in ways science is, well, only just catching up with.
Exactly, that gut feeling that your heart isn't just a pump.
Right. What if that connection involves a whole hidden tissue system? We're diving deep into that today.
We are.
Our mission really is to explore this incredible hypothesis that the pericardial fascia, that sac around your heart, isn't just protective tissue. What if it's actually a key player, like a neuro-mechanical interface, an information highway between your heart and brain?
The superhighway, potentially,
Yeah.
influencing stress, emotions, the whole shebang.
And we're going to see how ancient wisdom lines up with some really cutting-edge science on this.
Yeah, and to do that, we've pulled together a pretty wide range of sources. We've got traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic texts, really old wisdom.
Okay.
And then we're bridging that with modern neurocardiology, especially work from places like the HeartMath Institute, plus insights from, alternative practices like Rolfing, Reiki therapy.
So a real mix, ancient and modern, east and west.
We're aiming to show you how this pericardial fascia idea, might just be the missing link that changes how we see heart-brain communication, and maybe even how you think about your own health.
Okay, let's start with the modern science then. For ages, the heart was just seen as a pump, right? Like plumbing.
Pretty much just a mechanical device pushing blood around. Simple, effective, but simple.
But neurocardiology has completely changed that picture. What's the new understanding?
Well, the big shift, and HeartMath has been huge in this, is realizing it's a two-way street, a bidirectional conversation.
It's not just brain telling heart what to do.
Not at all. In fact, the heart sends a massive amount of information up to the brain. Some argue even more signals go heart to brain than brain to heart.
Wow, okay.
It's a constant feedback loop.
Yeah.
Dynamic, affecting how we perceive things, how we feel, even how we think.
So how does this communication actually happen? What are the pathways?
HeartMath lays out four main ones. First up is neurological. This is pretty direct. Your heart has its own complex nervous system.
In the heart itself.
Yeah, the intrinsic cardiac nervous system, or ICNS. Some people even call it the heart brain.
Seriously? A brain in the heart?
Well, maybe little brain is better. It's got around 40,000 neurons.
40,000? That's not trivial.
Not at all.
Yeah.
These neurons can process information, they seem to have memory functions, short and long term, and they send signals up the vagus nerve and spinal cord.
To where in the brain?
Key areas: the thalamus, the brain's relay station, the amygdala is central for emotions, even the cortex for higher thinking. So heart signals directly influence perception, emotion, cognition.
So my heart's mood can literally change how I think.
The signals suggest exactly that. Way back in the 60s and 70s, the Lacey's showed heart signals could actually inhibit or help brain activity. It's got real clout.
Mind-blowing. Okay, that's the nerve connection. What else?
Second is biochemical. The heart acts like an endocrine organ. It makes hormones.
Like glands do.
Yep. It releases things like atrial natriuretic peptide, ANP, and other neurotransmitters directly into your blood.
And these travel to the brain.
They travel everywhere, including the brain, influencing things like blood pressure, fluid balance, stress responses, even your mood. Chemical messages from the heart.
Okay, nerves and chemicals. What's number 3?
Number 3 is biophysical. This is more mechanical. Think about the heartbeat. It creates pressure waves.
Like ripples in a pond.
Kind of. These pressure waves travel through your arteries with every beat. This physical pulse gives the brain feedback about heart rhythm, force. It's mechanical information.
So the brain feels the heartbeat, in a way.
Receptors throughout your body pick up these pressure changes and vibrations,
Yeah.
sending that info back. Yeah, you can say the brain feels it.
Fascinating. And the last one, you said 4.
The fourth is energetic. This one often gets the most mystical attention, but there's real science here too. The heart generates the body's strongest electromagnetic field.
Stronger than the brain's.
Much stronger. And measurable several feet away.
Wow.
And this field isn't static. It changes depending on your emotions. Anger, frustration, you get a chaotic, messy field.
Okay.
Love, gratitude, compassion, it becomes smooth, coherent, ordered, like a beautiful wave pattern.
And this field affects the brain.
The theory is, yes, it directly influences brain function, maybe even how we interact with others energetically. It's why you hear people talk about the heart as a toroidal generator or a vortex.
Yeah.
It reflects this powerful, measurable energy.
So feelings aren't just internal, they radiate outwards. electromagnetically.
The evidence points that way. It's a profound level of connection.
Okay, this is huge. Nerves, chemicals, pressure waves, energy fields. The heart is really talking. Now, heart math emphasizes HRV a lot, heart rate variability. Break that down for us. Why is it so important?
All right, HRV. It sounds complicated, but the basic idea is simple. It's not your heart rate itself, like 60 beats per minute. It's the tiny variations in time between each of those beats.
So it's not supposed to be perfectly regular like a clock.
Exactly the opposite. A perfectly metronomic beat often indicates stress or poor health. What you want is healthy variability, fluctuation.
Why is variation good?
Because it shows your autonomic nervous system, your body's automatic control system is flexible, adaptable, resilient. It can respond appropriately to changes.
Like being able to speed up or slow down easily?
Precisely. High HRV means good adaptability, good self-regulation. Low HRV is linked to stress, aging, inflammation, heart disease, lots of things. It means the system is rigid, less responsive.
And emotions play a big role here.
A huge role. This is key to heart math's work. Positive emotions, gratitude, appreciation, care, they actually increase your HRV.
Oh.
They boost your parasympathetic nervous system activity, the rest and digest side. Specifically, they increase vagal tone, the activity of the vagus nerve, which helps create that healthy variability.
And negative emotions.
They do the opposite. Anger, frustration, anxiety, they crank up the sympathetic system, the fight or flight response, and that reduces HRV, making the rhythm more rigid, less adaptable.
So managing emotions directly impacts this core measure of resilience.
Absolutely. That's why HeartMath developed techniques for stress reduction and performance based on this. Improving HRV improves resilience, focus, overall well-being. The link is very direct.
Okay, so if high HRV is good, what's this heart coherence state they talk about? Is that like peak HRV?
It's related but distinct. Heart coherence is described as a state of optimal alignment. Heart, mind, emotions, body systems all working together harmoniously.
Like everything's in sync.
Exactly. Physiologically, you see it in the heart rhythm pattern. It becomes very smooth, ordered like a sine wave, very different from the chaotic patterns of stress or even just normal resting states sometimes.
And that's measurable.
Yes, through HRV analysis. You look for that smooth, symmetrical, wave-like pattern. HeartMath has specific algorithms to score coherence levels.
What are the benefits of being in coherence?
Oh, quite a few. Increased parasympathetic activity, so better HRV, lower stress hormones like cortisol, improved immune function, more mental clarity, better emotional stability. Basically, your system is running really efficiently.
Sounds ideal. How do you get there? Is it hard?
HeartMath has developed simple techniques. The quick coherence technique is a good example. You focus your attention on your heart area.
Okay.
You consciously breathe a bit slower and deeper than usual, maybe aiming for a 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale rhythm.
Rhythmic breathing.
And crucially, while doing that, you actively generate a positive feeling, appreciation, care for someone, a happy memory.
Yeah.
You try to really feel it.
So heart focus, slow breathing, positive emotion.
That combination seems to be the magic sauce. It stimulates the vagus nerve, smooths out the heart rhythm, and guides you into coherence. They also have biofeedback devices that show you your rhythm in real time so you can learn what coherence feels like.
Does it just help the individual, or are there broader effects?
Well, it definitely boosts personal resilience, makes you better at handling stress. But HeartMath research suggests it improves social interactions too, more empathy, better communication. They even have a global coherence initiative looking at whether large groups of people in coherence could have wider effects.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot to take in from modern science. It paints a very different picture of the heart.
It really does.
But this makes me wonder, all this complex interaction, did ancient cultures have any inkling of this? Without ECGs and fancy computers, what does this mean when we look back?
That's where it gets incredibly fascinating. Because, yes, absolutely, many ancient traditions, especially Eastern ones, had a deeply holistic view. They didn't see the heart as just a pump.
How do I see it?
As central, as a seat of consciousness, emotion, life force. And they describe networks, pathways, things that sound remarkably like what we're finding now with nerves and fascia.
Let's start with traditional Chinese medicine, TCM. How did they view the heart?
In TCM, the heart is the emperor, supreme ruler. It governs blood, yes, but also Shen.
Shen, what's that?
It's often translated as spirit, consciousness, mind, emotional balance. Basically, your overall mental and spiritual clarity. The heart houses the Shen.
Okay, so already much more than a pump.
Much more. But here's the direct link to our hypothesis. TCM talks about the pericardium, the Shen Bao.
The heart sac.
Yes, but in TCM, it's not just a physical sac. It's considered a distinct organ system with its own energy channel, or meridian, its job, to be the heart protector.
Protecting it from what?
Primarily external stressors, especially intense emotions or what they call pathogenic influences. It shields the emperor, the heart shin, from being overwhelmed. It also mediates the heart's communication with the rest of the body.
So it's like a bodyguard and a communications officer.
That's a great analogy. And TCM texts explicitly describe it as a fascial-like structure. They recognized its physical nature, but also its crucial energetic and emotional function. The Huangdi Neijing, a foundational text, says it regulates key life force and blood flow and absorbs emotional shocks.
Absorbs emotional shocks. That sounds relevant. Does TCM link this pericardium to the brain?
Directly. Through concepts like viscera picture theory, TCM recognized a very close two-way relationship between the pericardium and the brain, an ancient understanding of heart-brain communication.
How did they think that worked?
Through the pericardial meridian. It runs from the chest down the arm. This channel is seen as facilitating communication, influencing emotional regulation, autonomic balance.
Wait, so problems with this meridian would cause?
These like anxiety, palpitations, restlessness, poor sleep, symptoms that sound an awful lot like what we associate with low HRV or poor coherence today. It's like they were describing the functional outcome of a disrupted system.
Wow. Did they have a concept like coherence?
Not the word coherence, but they absolutely emphasized rhythmic balance and harmony. Smooth flow of qi through the pericardium meridian was essential. When qi flows well, TCM says it fosters feelings like affection, joy, intimacy.
Feelings linked to high HRV in modern research.
Precisely. And the pericardium's key role was to stop pathogenic heat, or fire. Think stress, inflammation, intense emotions from attacking the heart shin, which is exactly what our hypothesis suggests. Physical tension in the pericardial fascia could disrupt signaling and lower HRV during stress.
So they saw the fascia, the pericardium, as a buffer against stress impacting the mind.
In essence, yes. And their treatments reflect that. Acupuncture points on the pericardium meridian, like PC6 near the wrist, are famous for calming the mind, settling anxiety, even helping nausea.
I've heard of that point.
Yeah, it's powerful. And TCM manual therapies like Tuine often work on the chest fascia to release stagnation and restore smooth qi flow. In modern terms, that could very well be improving mechanoreceptor signaling from the fascia, leading to better HRV.
It's like they knew working on the tissues around the heart could calm the whole system.
It strongly suggests that. They may not have used the word fascia or HRV, but the principles align incredibly well. The meridian system itself is often conceptualized now as relating to connective tissue pathways.
Okay, TCM is fascinating. What about Ayurveda from India? Similar ideas.
Very similar core concepts, though different terminology. In Ayurveda, the heart, hridaya, is also central seat of consciousness, chetana, emotions, the soul, atman. It's a vital energy point, a marma.
And the pericardium?
It's recognized as a protective sheath, understood as connective tissue. They're not explicitly called fascia in the same way. It's part of the supportive structure.
How did they see the heart-brain connection?
Through prana, the life force, similar to ki, and srotas, which are channels, the heart marma, hridaya, regulates emotional and cognitive functions. Imbalances there. Again, you see links to anxiety, palpitations, mirroring the TCM in modern views. Ayurveda also describes connective tissues called kaila, which support organs in communication. The pericardium is part of this network, transmitting signals. Marma therapy involves stimulating these points.
Does Ayurveda have practices relevant to HRV or coherence?
Again, not those specific terms, but the core principle of balance is key. Balancing the doshas vata, pitta, kapha, and ensuring smooth prana flow is the goal. Practices like pranayama, breath control, are central.
Rhythmic breathing again?
Exactly. Slow, deep breathing in pranayama is known to boost vagal tone and increase HRV effect, confirmed by modern science. Yoga postures also aim to free up energy flow. And marma therapy on the chest could absolutely release tension in the pericardial fascia.
So breathing and mindful movement or touch aimed at freeing something up around the heart.
That seems to be a common thread across these ancient systems.
Were there hints of this in other traditions too, Middle Eastern or even early Western thought?
Yes. Traditional Arabic and Islamic medicine, Tame, also saw the heart as the center of life, soul, emotions. Connective tissues were seen holistically. Practices like prayer, meditation, and hijama or cupping aim to balance energy. Cupping near the heart area is sometimes used for stress relief, potentially impacting autonomic function. And even in ancient Greece, Hippocrates and Galen saw the heart as vital for emotion, though the brain was the seat of reason. They knew the pericardium was a protective membrane. Galen described nerve and vessel connections between heart and brain. Their concept of pneuma, a vital spirit flowing through tissues, sounds a bit like ki or prana, and they use manipulative therapies to restore balance.
So this idea of the heart being more than a pump and connected to mind and spirit through surrounding tissues or energy flows, it's almost universal in ancient thought.
It really seems to be. Different languages, different models, but a shared intuitive understanding of this deep connection.
Okay, that really sets the stage. Ancient intuition meets modern measurement. Now let's dive back into the modern science, specifically on fascia. You said it's way more than just packing material.
Oh, absolutely. The view of fascia has undergone a revolution. Forget inert plastic wrap. Think of it as a smart suit, a communication network.
A communication network? How?
It's incredibly rich in nerve endings. Estimates are around 250 million nerve endings throughout your body's fascial web.
250 million, that's huge. More than in your skin.
Comparable, potentially even more extensive in terms of sensory surface area. It's one of the body's largest, richest sensory organs.
What kind of information is it sensing?
All sorts. It's packed with mechanoreceptors. Byzantine corpuscles feel vibration and pressure. Rossini endings sense sustained stretch and shear, like when you twist or bend. Golgi organs detect tension. Together, they give your brain a constant, detailed map of your body's position, movement, internal pressures, proprioception.
My sense of where my body is in space comes partly from fascia.
A huge part, yes.
Yeah.
But it's not just movement. It also has nociceptors, pain receptors. So fascia tells you when things are wrong, when there's inflammation or injury.
Okay. And you mentioned nervous system connections.
Critically, yes. Fascia is innervated by autonomic nerves, both sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest. This means fascia isn't just sensing the mechanical environment, it's potentially modulating your stress response directly. It's tied right into your core regulatory systems.
Wow. So it's a sensory organ and an interface with the autonomic nervous system.
Exactly. A body-wide sensory organ is the perfect description. It's constantly sending updates to the brain. And here's the kicker: continuity. Fascia isn't compartmentalized. It's one continuous web. Meaning the pericardium, the heart sac, isn't isolated. It's physically connected to the fascia of the diaphragm below it, the structures in the chest, even up into the neck via deep fascial planes.
So tension in my neck could theoretically affect the tissues around my heart.
That's the implication of fascial continuity. Mechanical events are transmitted. Tension or restriction in one area can have ripple effects, influencing neural signaling far away. It connects everything.
This changes everything. If fascia is this smart, connected network, then the pericardium, that specific bit of fascia around the pulsing heart.
Precisely. This brings us right to the core hypothesis. The listener's intuition hits the bullseye here.
What if the pericardial fascia is a specialized part of this network, a key interface?
That's the idea, that the pericardial fascia acts as a crucial, maybe underappreciated mechanosensory interface.
Translating that, it means it senses the heart's physical actions.
Exactly. It transduces, converts the mechanical information from the heart's beat, its contraction, its twisting motion, the pressure changes, into nerve signals.
And sends those signals to the brain.
Sends them afferently upstream to the brain, providing this incredibly detailed, real-time feedback on the heart's mechanical state. It's listening to the heart's physical language.
Okay, how does that connect back to HRV and coherence?
Think about it. If the pericardium is healthy, pliable, moving freely with the heart, the mechanical signals it sends will be clear, rhythmic, coherent.
Like a clean signal.
Right. And that clean, coherent signal reaching the brain via the vagus and other nerves could promote more stable vagal output from the brain. The brain receives harmony, it responds with harmony. That translates directly to higher HRV, better coherence.
Makes sense. And the flip side, if the fascia is tight or restricted,
then the signals get messy. Fascial restrictions from injury, inflammation, chronic tension, surgery scars could distort the mechanical information being sent. It's like static on the line.
So the brain gets noisy, chaotic signals.
Potentially. And that distorted feedback could disrupt autonomic balance, leading to lower HRV, less coherence. The brain struggles to maintain stability when the input is jumbled.
So this introduces the idea of mechanical coherence, the physical state of the fascia influencing the measurable neural coherence.
That's the implication. How freely and smoothly the heart moves within its fascial environment could directly impact the HRV patterns we measure. It's not just electrical or chemical, it's physical mechanics feeding into neural regulation.
And this would explain why some manual therapies seem to help.
It aligns perfectly. Therapies that work on releasing fascial tension around the chest and pericardium, like osteopathic techniques or specific myofascial work, often report improvements in autonomic function, sometimes even measurable changes in HRV. It suggests we're influencing this mechanosensory pathway.
This idea of fascia as the sensory link, it feels cutting edge, especially with recent science. But you mentioned alternative or integrative practices seem to have worked with this intuitively for ages.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how many practices, even if they didn't use the term mechanoreceptor, seem geared towards influencing this very system. Modern holistic views increasingly see the heart beyond the pump and fascia beyond the wrapping, much like ancient traditions did.
Like Rolfing, you mentioned that earlier.
Yes, Rolfing or structural integration. Dr. Ida Rolf's whole system is about optimizing the body's structure through fascial manipulation, and Rolfing explicitly works with the pericardium and surrounding thoracic fascia in its core sessions.
Really? They target that area specifically?
They do. Sessions 4 to 7 often involve deep work in the thorax, around the ribs, diaphragm, and visceral space. The aim is to free restrictions, improve mobility, and by extension, improve signaling. While direct HRV studies on Rolfing are still needed, the core principle aligns, and practitioners often report significant shifts in client stress levels and emotional states after this kind of work.
Okay. What about something like Feldenkrais? That's more movement-based, right?
Right, the Feldenkrais method uses gentle movement and awareness. It doesn't directly target the pericardium like Rolfing might, but many of its awareness through movement lessons involve subtle explorations of breathing, rib cage mobility, spinal movement.
Things that would affect the chest cavity.
Exactly. By improving the ease and coordination of movement in the thorax and diaphragm, Feldenkrais could indirectly stimulate those pericardial mechanoreceptors, improving their signaling and influencing vagal tone. People often report feeling calmer, less anxious after Feldenkrais, which points towards improved autonomic balance, potentially better HRV.
Interesting. And Reichian therapy, that sounds more psychological.
It is body-oriented psychotherapy, but Wilhelm Reich was very focused on physical tension, what he called body armor. He specifically linked emotional holding patterns to chronic tension in the chest, restricting breathing and heart movement.
So restricting the pericardium's environment.
That's the idea. Reichian therapy uses deep breathing and sometimes direct physical work on the chest to release this armoring. The belief is that freeing this physical tension also frees stuck emotions and restores autonomic balance. Again, the mechanism aligns beautifully with enhancing parasympathetic activity and potentially improving HRV.
It's like they were physically trying to improve that mechanical coherence.
Without calling it that, yes. And then you have approaches like biodynamic craniosacral therapy, influenced by Steiner. They view fascia as conducting a subtle life force, the breath of life.
Like ki or prana.
Similar concept. They perceive rhythmic motions in the body, including around the pericardium, and use very gentle touch to help release restrictions and restore balance. Some small studies on craniosacral therapy have shown increases in HRV and parasympathetic activity.
So across these different methods, direct manipulation, gentle movement, breath work, there's this common theme of working with the tissues and mechanics of the chest to influence well-being.
Exactly. And adding the energetic perspective, like the heart's electromagnetic field, these practices might also be improving the heart's energetic environment by freeing up the physical mechanics. General manual therapies, osteopathy, myofascial release, they all show evidence of impacting HRV, likely through stimulating these fascial mechanoreceptors. It all points back to this intimate connection between the physical structure and our psychophysiological state.
It's incredibly compelling. Ancient wisdom, clinical observation, alternative practices, and now this emerging scientific hypothesis. But it sounds like the science is still playing catch-up on the specifics of the pericardial fascia itself.
That's fair to say. We're standing on solid ground, but the specific focus on the pericardial fascia as this neuro-mechanical interface is definitely frontier territory.
So let's clarify. What parts are rock solid, scientifically speaking?
Okay, what we know for sure. 1, the pericardium is innervated. Anatomy confirms it gets nerves from the phrenic nerve, the vagus, the sympathetic system. We know there are sensory receptors there. Animal studies show stimulating them triggers reflexes. That pathway exists.
Okay, nerves are there.
2, fascia is a massive sensory organ that's increasingly undeniable. The sheer density of nerve endings, the different types of receptors, the autonomic connections, fascia is communication central.
Right, fascia senses and communicates.
3, manual therapy impacts HRV. Numerous studies, including good quality trials, show that working on the body's tissues, especially around the spine and chest, can shift the autonomic nervous system towards a more parasympathetic, high HRV state. The link between touch movement and autonomic regulation is established.
Okay, foundation is strong, nerves, sensory fascia, manual therapy effects. So where are the gaps? What don't we know specifically about the pericardial fascia's role?
The big gap is the specific link. While thoracic manual therapy helps HRV, nobody has really isolated the pericardial fascia itself as the key driver. Is it the main player or just one part of the chest mechanism? We don't know its precise contribution.
We need to zoom in on the pericardium.
Exactly. Then there's mapping the pathways. We know nerves go to the pericardium, but we haven't fully traced the specific routes from its mechanoreceptors up to the brain's control centers, like the nucleus tractus solitarius in the brainstem. We need the detailed wiring diagram for these specific signals.
Hold the signal, got it.
Also, quantifying the connection. Can we measure the pericardium's mechanical properties? Like how stiff or mobile is it in a living person, maybe using ultrasound elastography? And does that measurement correlate with their baseline HRV or coherence? Nobody's done that yet.
Yeah.
That would be huge, linking tissue mechanics directly to physiology.
Like direct structure-function link.
Yes. And finally, a unified model. Current neurocardiology talks nerves, hormones, energy fields. We need a model that integrates the biomechanical role of the pericardial fascia as a mechanosensory interface into that bigger picture of heart-brain communication. It hasn't been formally proposed or tested.
So if we wanted to test this hypothesis properly, what would a research plan look like? How could scientists bridge these gaps?
Well, you'd likely need a multi-pronged approach. Aim 1, anatomy. Really detailed microscopic work on human pericardial tissue to map receptor density. And neural tracing in animal models to follow those specific nerve pathways from the pericardium up into the brainstem and beyond. Get the map.
Okay, map the hardware.
Aim 2, physiology mechanism. How does stretching or compressing pericardial tissue actually generate nerve signals? You could test this on tissue samples, ex vivo. Then, in live animal models, could you correlate the heart's physical movement, beat by beat, with the electrical signals coming off the pericardial nerves? Show the mechanical to neural transduction in action.
Prove the translation works.
Aim 3, functional impact in humans. This would likely be a randomized controlled trial. One group gets targeted manual therapy aimed specifically at pericardial release. Another gets a sham or a different type of treatment. Measure HRV and coherence before and after.
See if the specific intervention makes a difference.
Yes. And ideally, you'd try to measure pericardial mobility too, maybe with that ultrasound technique, to see if changes in the tissue correlate with changes in HRV. Plus, you absolutely have to ask people how they feel, track changes in stress, anxiety, well-being.
Yeah.
Combine the objective data with subjective experience.
Wow, that sounds comprehensive. What could that kind of research achieve? What's the significance?
Potentially massive. It could give us the first detailed map of the pericardium's sensory network. It could uncover a fundamentally new mechanism for heart-brain communication, this biomechanical signaling pathway. It would provide a solid scientific basis for why certain manual therapies seem to work so well for stress and autonomic issues.
Bridging bodywork and neuroscience.
Exactly. Bridging structural mechanics and psychophysiology. It could explain how posture, breathing habits, old injuries, even emotional trauma held physically can impact our heart rhythms and emotional health. And ultimately, it could open doors to new non-drug treatments for anxiety, PTSD, dysautonomia, conditions where this heart-brain link is clearly crucial. It's really exciting potential.
What an incredible arc. From these whispers in ancient texts and intuitive practices through modern neurocardiology to a hypothesis about this specific tissue, the pericardial fascia, and now a roadmap for potentially proving it, it really ties so much together.
It does. It highlights how much we're still learning about the body's intricate wisdom.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for someone listening? What does this all mean for them?
I think the takeaway is that this connection is real, profound, and potentially very physical. That humble sac around your heart, the pericardial fascia, might be playing a critical role in how your physical body, your posture, your breath, stored tension talks directly to your brain and influences your emotional state and resilience.
It's not just all in your head or all in your body. It's deeply intertwined.
Precisely. It's a testament to interconnectedness, a wisdom the ancients knew and we're now rediscovering through the lens of fascia and neuromechanics. That physical tension around your heart might actually be damping down your natural coherence.
So, maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Just take a moment sometime today. Notice your posture. Notice your breath. Consider the possibility that the physical space and freedom or lack thereof around your own heart might be sending constant, quiet signals to your brain.
Signals influencing your resilience, your calm, your connection.
And knowing that, how might that change how you move, how you breathe, how you care for the physical home of your heart? It really gives you a new lens, doesn't it? A new appreciation for this incredibly intricate system you inhabit.
A very empowering perspective.